Shut the fuck up, you fucking cockroach. Oh my God. What a disgusting little creature this is. HasanAbi Productions did this fantastic thing where he compiled exactly how to properly resist Israel's genocide, according to Asmongold and Ethan Klein. Now, the reason why I think it's important is because in this day and age, there are many different ways of saying that you're against genocide. But obviously, aside from the everyday existence, the everyday murder of children done by an unaccountable criminal entity such as Israel, in cooperation, in direct cooperation with the most powerful, most unaccountable entity on the planet, the United States of America, a criminal enterprise through and through. Aside from that, there's another thing that we have to pay attention to, which is how to protest. Because obviously, if you think you are protesting against Israel and you're doing it right, you're most likely not doing it right. So let's take a look at how to do this, okay? Let's take a look at how to do this, because there's got to be a way to do it appropriately. Firstly, stop protesting in the streets. Blocking the roads is an inconvenience for Asmongold, and he doesn't want to be bothered. Okay.
I don't really give a about what Palestine's problems are or Israel's problems are, but if somebody is blocking the road, I do care. And I will tell you also that if they are blocking the road and I'm trying to get through the road, I will reflexively be against them. Like, what are you for? Okay, let's vote against.
Okay, well, good thing you don't even have to vote for it. That's just like a permanent state of affairs in America. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Secondly, if you're Jewish and you peacefully protest Israel's genocide, Ethan will call you a token Jew who does not represent the Jewish majority. Well, that's okay. Hold on. That's weird.
I am so proud to be marching with so many Jews.
Yes, the Jews. The Jews are here. Did we mention that? Mm-hmm. Give the Jewish guy the mic.
Gentiles of all ages.
Yes. And of course they're Jews there, right? And Jews have are allowed to have different perspectives and stuff, but this man is like the embodiment of a fucking Jewish token. Like, holy So let's say 10,000 Jews are members of Jewish Voices for Peace, and they tour all around the country, showing up at every like pro-Palestinian protest or whatever the they're doing, and and they just they parade them around like here's one of the good Jews. It's 10,000 people of 6 million in America, and part of the disgusting propaganda that they do is that they pretend, they try to convince everybody that this is what this represents the Jewish majority.
It will never not be interesting to me that as a Jewish man, Ethan Klein is saying, no, actually, the prominent Jewish activists that are against Israel are actually in the wrong. They do not represent the majority of Jewish opinion. The majority of Jews actually love what Israel is doing. That seems insane. It would be like if I were to, in the wave of Islamophobic sentiment rising during like the peak of ISIS activity in the region, if I were to be like, guys, do not listen to any Muslim that tells you that ISIS doesn't represent their faith. You are Islamophobic if you don't defend ISIS. I, as a Muslim man, am telling you the overwhelming majority of Muslims love what ISIS is doing, and you have to love it too. Otherwise, you are an Islamophobic person. That's what this is. That is the literal equivalent. He's like, if I were to go after someone who is who's saying that like ISIS has nothing to do with Islam, a Muslim that's saying that and being like, that's a token. He's a liar. Very strange, especially strange because he's pro-Palestine, but that's interesting. All right.
But it's not. Anyway, whatever.
Does not represent it.
Thirdly, stop protesting on college campuses. It makes Asmongold feel uncomfortable. He also thinks you should be arrested and or deported if you participate.
Shit, again? Oh, no. Breaking, Columbia protesters are once again occupying the Butler Library while chanting from the river to... Jesus Christ. Can we just please send in the National Guard and arrest these people? Like, what are we doing? What are they doing? Every single person that did this, I think they should figure out if they were a student And if they were a student, I think they should get expelled. And if they weren't a student, I think they should get charged for trespassing. That's what you do it. And yeah, exactly. And if, if they weren't a citizen, I think they should get deported.
Common sense. I think it should be Kent State 2.0. Those guys were clearly in the wrong. I loved what the National Guard did at Kent State. Based.
My point is when
don't use emancipatory slogans like "from the river to the sea" when protesting. It makes Ethan feel uncomfortable. Obviously, Ethan's personal feelings are infinitely more important than I don't know, people saying like "free Palestine" or "from the river to the sea, Palestine would be free." Obviously, we have to factor in his personal opinions on this. Duh.
My point is when Israelis hear "from the ocean to the sea," they hear
"from the ocean to the sea."
All of Israel.
I don't understand. If a movement is for peace between two people and one people is telling you they're not comfortable with the statement, shouldn't we change the statement to something that both...
Yeah, all lives matter. Like, Black Lives Matter makes me uncomfortable. I'm a white conservative man, and I think when someone says Black Lives Matter, I instantly assume you want to kill all white people. Therefore, you have to say all lives matter. Actually, you should say white lives matter. Why are Black Lives Matter protesters not saying white lives matter? Don't bother donating to pro-Palestinian charities. According to Ethan, it's not real activism and has no real impact.
Creators for Palestine raised $1.6 million. That's fantastic. Literally negligible. They've received billions of fucking dollars. It's a good thing. Has $1.6 million had an outcome on anything happening in Gaza? Absolutely fucking not.
Of course, if you donate to one of these fundraisers, even after you spend the rest of the year trying to deplatform the people that have done these fundraisers, then you're a stalwart ally of the Palestinians, of course. Remember, you're pro-Palestine because you donated to one of these charities and then you wanted to take it down, but yeah.
Like, raise money. That's good. That's the easiest fucking thing you can do is just give money, right? Good. Let's talk about real activism. Let's talk about enacting meaningful change. Total fucking failures.
Yeah, okay. Do not support any military resistance to Israel's genocide. Asmongold and Ethan will just call you a terrorist supporter. Oh, no. Okay, so even if can we at least contextualize? Can we at least contextualize like why these militancies form in the region?
Some fresh criticism for Hasan, who is an outright supporter of terrorism. Quite literally. He is a champion for terrorism and a supporter of terrorism. And if you don't believe me, watch the video. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say about that.
When you say that you support the actions of a terrorist organization and you interview them on your stream and then you play their propaganda, you end up getting detained for extra questioning, re-entering the country.
Nice!
And I think that Hasan and everybody else, including myself, let's all sit together and say a collective thank you to the government for keeping us safe.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking cockroach. Oh my God. What a disgusting little creature this is, okay? What a disgusting little creature. Thank you for defending our nation state to the Trump administration for detaining a Twitch streamer. Like, Asmongold is such a fucking liar on this issue, okay? He knows that I am not a fucking dangerous entity. He has to present it as such because he has to, like, consistently up the ante. He has to consistently up the ante because he is captured by the interests of the broad right-wing movement that is formed in his chat as he consistently farms right-wing dumbasses. Okay? That's it. Would you debate him? Yes, but he runs away from that sort of thing because he knows he would be humiliated because all he can do is just like chirp from his hug box, and that's it. And it is what it is. Okay, so it seems like Israel killed another 50 people today in the residential building. Another 29 died to starvation. Will Ethan, Asmongold, or any other drama-adjacent content creator talk about it? Of course not. It's not more important than trying to get Hasan or other pro-Palestinian content creators banned. One more, I almost forgot. Do not be a Muslim while living in Gaza. It's hard for Asmongold to feel sympathy for you if you're being genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. They come from an inferior culture. Okay, this is the last one. So obviously, if you are existing as a Palestinian in the Gaza Strip, then yeah, you can't do that either. Why would he debate you? You're sitting in LA talking about wars 100,000 miles away. Shut the fuck up. Great question. He's in proximity to the Gaza Strip. His proximity to the Gaza Strip is like negligible in comparison to mine. I am more knowledgeable than he is, though, especially considering that I do talk to people that are in the Gaza Strip and have interviewed people that have escaped the Gaza Strip and have read plenty of books on the issue that pertains to the Palestinian plight over the course of the past 77 years of occupation. If you are talking about this sort of thing, then, you know, if you have these firmly held convictions about what must be done to the Palestinians, then perhaps, you know, it would be okay to have this back and forth with the person that you are consistently calling a terrorism supporter that needs to be fucking deplatformed and that the government is doing a good job detaining. Don't you think that would be fair? Of course, you don't think about anything, and you certainly don't think about this either. It's not the proximity to what's going on is not the problem for you. The problem for you is what I'm saying. And because you can't actually argue against what I'm saying, you have to find something else to cling on to. I think if we're looking at two individuals who are engaging in political commentary, and one party is just not even knowledgeable at all about it, and the other party is at the very least knowledgeable and making an effort to understand the plight of the Palestinians, the people that are being genocided, you know, I think you're a responsible enough adult to make up your own mind on who has more knowledge on the situation.
If you want to,
who would be more impactful to talk to about this kind of stuff.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing.
You also can't use terms created by the genocidal state itself. Oh yeah, you can't say Hasbara. You will read people saying I'm doing Hasbara, which means propaganda in Hebrew. What they really mean when they say Hasbara is Jewish propaganda, because they just saying propaganda isn't good enough to describe what the Jews do. That's why they use the Hebrew word for it. Yeah. Which, by the way, ironically, is the word that Israel uses in its attempts to convince others in the Western world. This is why people say Hasbara. Hasbara is not Jewish propaganda. Hasbara is Israeli propaganda. Hasbara is propaganda at the behest of Israel. They have entire departments dedicated to this. They spend a shit ton of money on this, actually, openly. Like the Knesset openly states that there are Hasbara initiatives that they are spending additional funds on. There's a special word for Chinese, Russian, or North Korean propaganda, or is it Jewish propaganda? It's so sneaky and insidious that it must be specifically, specially qualified. Anyway, that's that's just him trying to show his chat that he is based, while simultaneously showing his chat that he is still pro-Israel. But he's still based, though. Don't worry. Don't worry, chat. He's still based.
That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people...
He's pro-Israel, but in a based way.
People are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
So yeah. Why did we do this? Well, we did this to figure out if there is any correct way to protest against Israel that is currently doing a genocide, that is an apartheid state. And the answer is, if you listen to Asmongold and Ethan Klein, then no, there isn't.